The hotel restaurant felt like a quiet island above the busy street. Thick glass kept the traffic noise out. Soft music floated from hidden speakers. Sunlight fell through tall windows and warmed the floor like a slow smile. A host in a neat suit greeted the father and his little girl and led them to a corner table. The father walked with the careful calm of someone used to people watching him. The girl walked close to him, one hand holding his sleeve, the other holding a small sketchbook with a yellow cover. He thanked the host and pulled out a chair for his daughter. She was 10, with bright eyes and hair tied back with a blue ribbon. She sat and placed the sketchbook on the table. Her fingers rested on it as if it were a friend. The father sat across from her and took a deep breath. He had sent 3 emails in the car. He had a call after lunch. He loved his daughter deeply, but he often felt like he was chasing the day, and the day was always one step ahead. A glass of water appeared. A small plate of warm bread followed. The father smiled at his daughter and pointed to the bread. She nodded and took a piece. He lifted his phone, checked the screen, and set it down again. He told himself, "Not now. Be here." He folded his hands and looked at his daughter. She hummed a little tune without sound and drew a circle on the sketchbook cover with her fingertip. Their waitress came over with a friendly face and steady eyes. She looked young, maybe in her early 20s, with a simple ponytail and a notepad she hardly needed. "Good afternoon," she said. "Welcome. My name is Ava. I'll be taking care of you today." Her voice was warm but not too loud. She turned her attention to the girl for a second longer, the way people do when they notice something special. Then she smiled and set down 2 menus. The father thanked her and opened his menu without really reading. He watched his daughter. Instead, the girl's eyes moved quickly, catching every detail. She saw the plants near the window, the small candle on the table, the gold letters on the menu cover. She ran her finger along the edge of the paper and then looked up at the waitress again. The waitress looked back and noticed the blue hearing aids behind the girl's ears. She did not stare. She did not tilt her head in a pitying way. She simply noticed, like a person sees rain on a window and understands it is raining. The father said, "We'll need a minute to decide." The waitress nodded. Then she shifted her body slightly so the girl could see her hands. With an easy calm, she raised her hands and signed, "Hello? My name is Ava. Can I get you anything to drink?" The girl's whole face changed. Surprise and joy sparked at once. She sat up straighter, eyes wide, mouth open in a quiet smile. Her hands moved back in clear answer. "Hello, Ava. I am Lena. Water with lemon, please." She made a small lemon shape with her fingers and finished with a polite thank you. The father froze. The moment rested on the table between them like a dropped spoon that no one moved to pick up. He had seen people sign before. He had tried to learn a few words. He knew thank you. He knew sorry. He knew I love you. But he had never seen his daughter flow like this with someone outside the family. It was like watching her run barefoot across a field when he had only ever seen her standing still. Ava signed back. "Beautiful name." "Nice to meet you, Lena." She turned to the father and spoke gently. "Would you like water as well, sir?" He nodded, still caught in the scene, and said yes. When Ava left, he looked at his daughter and smiled, a little unsure, a little shy, like a student meeting a new teacher. Lena tapped her sketchbook. She opened it to a fresh page and drew a quick picture of a lemon slice and a tall glass. She held it up to her father, and they both smiled. He tried to sign, slowly. Water with lemon, too, but he got the hand shape slightly wrong. Lena touched his hand and guided his fingers into place. He laughed softly and tried again. Better. When Ava came back with the drinks, she placed the water with lemon near Lena and plain water for the father. She signed to Lena, "Do you like to draw?" Lena nodded and lifted the sketchbook. She signed, "I draw animals. I draw hands. I draw my school." Her fingers danced quickly and she waited. eyes alert to make sure Ava saw every word. Ava did. She answered with smooth, clean signs. I grew up with sign language. My parents are deaf. I like art, too. I draw people when they are thinking. The father listened with his eyes, chasing the shapes, trying to hold on. He felt like someone standing on the shore, watching two good swimmers move across the water with quiet strength. He wanted to call out, "Wait for me, I am coming." But he did not know how to swim that far yet. The feeling was not jealousy. It was not pain. It was something closer to a tender ache. He realized again that love is not only a feeling but a language, and he had not learned enough words in his daughter's language. Ava set down a small stand with a printed card that listed a few popular dishes. She signed to Lena, "We have a special today. Fresh pasta with tomatoes. We also have chicken with herbs and rice. Do you like any of these?" Lena considered and signed, "Pasta, please." No cheese. Ava nodded, signed got it, and turned to the father. "And for you, sir?" she asked aloud. He cleared his throat. "The grilled fish, please, and a side salad." Ava wrote it down but did not need to. She gathered the menus and stepped away. When she left, the father leaned forward. "She signs very well," he said. Lena's eyes shone. She signs like my teacher. She signs fast but clear." He nodded. He lifted his hands, hesitated, and signed slowly, "I will learn more. Will you teach me tonight?" His fingers were stiff, but the meaning landed. Lena smiled big and signed, "Yes, 10 minutes, every night." It felt like they had just made a small promise the way hikers make a small fire in cold air. It was simple. It made warmth. It made light. The food arrived with quiet grace. The pasta gleamed with tomato and oil. The fish rested on the plate like a neat silver hill. The father waited for Lena to take the first bite. She did, and her eyes closed in quick, happy approval. He took a bite of his fish and realized he was hungry. He had been skipping meals again. He reminded himself to stop doing that. He looked at his daughter and tried to fix this picture in his mind. The blue ribbon, the lemon slice, the bright noodles, the comfortable silence. Ava came. By to check on them, she did not speak first. She stood where Lena could see her hands and signed, "Is everything okay?" Lena signed back, "Very good. Thank you. Can I show you my drawing?" Ava leaned in with a respectful distance and nodded. Lena flipped the sketchbook around. She had drawn the corner of the restaurant, the window, the plant, the candle, the little card with the specials. She had even drawn Ava's hands in the air mid-sign, with lines showing movement. It was not perfect, but it had life. It was full of attention. Ava placed her hand over her heart and signed, "I love this. It shows how people talk with eyes and hands. Thank you for sharing." The father watched every second. He felt something inside him open, like a door in a hallway he had walked past many times without noticing. He realized how many spaces in the world were not built for his daughter. He also realized how strong she was, how she kept finding ways to bloom. He wanted to help the world bend toward her, even a little. A couple at a nearby table looked over, curious but not unkind. Ava did not make a show of anything. She kept it natural. She asked if they wanted anything else. Lena signed, "May I have more water, please?" Ava smiled and filled the glass. The father said, "Thank you," and then tried it in sign. "Thank you," with a gentle motion from chin to air. Ava nodded in encouragement. They finished their meal slowly. The father did not touch his phone again. He asked Lena questions with his hands, small questions he knew and some he guessed at, and let her correct him. "What did you draw in school yesterday? Who did you sit with at lunch? What game did you play at recess?" When he mixed up a sign, she giggled without sound, then showed him again. He liked the feeling of her small fingers guiding his larger ones. It felt like being welcomed into a house that had always been there for him, but that he had not entered. Enough. When plates were cleared, Ava brought the bill in a folder and set it down without rush. She stood for a second as if checking whether to say something. Then she signed to Lena. "You sign beautifully. Keep drawing. Your drawings show kindness." Lena's cheeks warmed with pride. She signed back. "Thank you. Your hands are fast and calm." Ava laughed softly. She turned to the father and spoke. "If you ever want beginner resources, I can write down a few free ones for you." She made the sign for book without thinking, then smiled at her own habit. "Yes," the father said too quickly. He slowed his voice. "Yes, please. That would be very helpful." He wanted to tell her that she had given him something bigger than service. He wanted to say thank you in a way that matched the gift. But big speeches did not fit this gentle moment. So he simply handed her the folder back with his card inside and waited while she wrote a short list on a small paper. A local community center, a website with video lessons, the name of a beginner children's sign book. She placed the note on the table. "These are friendly places," she said. "Good for parents and kids together." She signed the same idea for Lena, so nothing was left out. The father looked at the note and then at her. "How did you learn so well?" he asked. Ava said, "My parents are deaf. We signed at home all the time. I think with both hands and words." She added in sign for Lena, "Ita." The father nodded, and something. The car ride home felt quiet in a good way. The city moved fast on both sides of the window, but inside the car, the father and Lena sat close and calm. The father checked his phone once, then turned it face down and slid it into the door pocket, like a person putting a loud thing to sleep. He opened his notes app and typed, 10 minutes of sign with Lena every night, after dinner. He added a small bell icon and set it to repeat. Then he showed the screen to Lena. She read it, smiled, and tapped the little bell with her fingertip, as if blessing it. At home, he asked the driver to wait and carried 2 small bags, a new pen set for Lena and a notebook for himself. Inside the apartment, they went to the living room window where plants sat in neat rows. The father looked around and said, "We need a quiet corner." Lena pointed to a space near a bookshelf and a low lamp. They moved a small table there, placed 2 chairs, and set the yellow sketchbook and the blank notebook side by side. It felt like building a small workshop that belonged to them both. He opened his laptop and searched for the alphabet in sign. He found a simple page with clear pictures. He printed it and taped it to the wall above the table. Then he drew a big number 10 on a sticky note and put it under the lamp. The lamp made a soft circle of light. Lena sat down and took his hands the way a music teacher might take a student's hands before the first note. She signed A, B, C and looked at him with patient eyes. He tried to follow, slow and careful, stopping to fix a finger here and a thumb there. He laughed at himself, and she laughed with him, not unkindly, just happy to share. They practiced names. He signed his name, letter by letter. Lena signed hers faster, with a little proud tilt of her chin. Then she touched his wrist and made a tiny circle over it. "What does that mean?" he asked. She took her phone and typed in big letters, "Your sign name. Watch." He looked at his wrist. He did not wear a watch. He wore time in his head and his phone. He smiled at the joke and nodded. He lifted his hands. "Thank you." Lena grinned and made a tiny tap on her hair. He typed back, "Your sign name and ribbon." She touched the blue ribbon and smiled even bigger. 10 minutes passed like a light breeze. The alarm on his phone buzzed, but he let it buzz and fade. They did 5 more minutes, then closed the books while it still felt easy. He knew that ending on ease makes a person want to return. They bumped fists again and left the small corner, which now felt like a seed they had planted. The next morning, the father's world tried to run fast again. His phone woke up with messages, a market note, a supplier update, a calendar change. He brushed his teeth and spoke to himself in the mirror. Do not let the fast things decide your day. Cetro. The car, he called his assistant, Nia. I want to learn sign language. Real lessons. Can you find options? Nia said. Of course. Community center, private tutor, or school class. He said, all three. Saturday mornings would be best. And a book for parents and kids. Nia said she would send a list in an hour. At the office, glass walls made lines of light on the floor. People moved with coffee cups and careful steps. He walked into his office and saw a small stack of papers, budgets, proposals, and a memo about store training hours. He picked up the memo and wrote in the margin, add basic sign greetings, visual menus, quiet space policy. Then he sent a group email to 3 leaders, customer support, retail operations, and HR. Subject, simple accessibility wins, pilot ideas. The message was short and friendly. It asked for one small idea from each person by the afternoon. Before lunch, Nia walked in with a printed page of options. Community class runs Saturdays at 9, she said. There's also a weeknight class at 7, but it's across town. Private tutor can do your office at 5:30. He looked at the calendar on his screen. It was full, yes, but not fixed like a stone wall. He drew a small block each day. At 6, 10 minutes with Lena. He drew a larger block on Saturday at 9. Beginner ASL, community center. He heard his own rule in his head. If something matters, put it on the calendar as if it were a person you respect. That evening, he cooked simple pasta with olive oil because it reminded him of lunch. He and Lena ate at the table, then moved to the quiet corner. They signed colors, red, yellow, blue. They signed family, mother, father, child. When he mixed up aunt and friend, Lena hid a giggle behind her hands and then showed him again with clear, slow motion. He learned that hands are only half the language. The face is the other half. He tried to make his expressions match his meaning. If he signed sorry, he made his face soft. If he signed happy, he let his eyes join the word. Lena nodded, and it felt like a small medal. On the 3rd night, the day did not behave. A partner called with an urgent question. Messages stacked up like cups. His alarm buzzed for their 10 minutes, but he said into the phone, I will be there in 10. And then the 10 became 20, and then 40. When he finally walked to the quiet corner, Lena was in pajamas with the ribbon on her nightstand. She looked at him and then at the lamp. He lifted his hands and signed, sorry. Work went long. Her face stayed calm, but a tiny cloud passed through her eyes. She signed, tomorrow? He signed, promise. They touched palms. He understood that missing a small thing can feel big when the small thing is a promise. The next morning, he changed a setting on his phone. He made a focus mode called Lena. When it was on, only her messages and Nia's would reach him. He told Nia, from 6 to 6:10 each evening, you cannot schedule me. If someone insists, tell them it is an appointment with a person I cannot let down. Nia nodded with a smile that said she understood more than he needed to explain. Saturday came bright and cool. The community center sat on a street with a mural of birds on the wall. Families walked in carrying notebooks and hope. The father and Lena found their seats in a circle. The teacher, a calm woman with curly hair, named Mrs. Perez, greeted the group in sign first, then in voice. We will keep it simple. We will practice useful things, how to greet, how to order food, how to ask for help, how to say, one more time, please. We will laugh a lot. That is okay. Laughter helps. They practiced keeping their hands at chest level. They learned to face the person, not the floor. They learned that slowing down is a gift, not an insult. When someone rushed, Mrs. Perez would raise both palms, gently as if slowing a car near a school. The father felt a kind of peace in the circle. No one looked at their phone. No one felt bad for not being perfect. They cheered small wins, like when a grandfather got the sign for school just right after 3 tries and looked proud like a boy. During a break, the father and Lena stood by a table with water and crackers. A mother next to them signed, "My son is 6. We are learning together." The father signed back, "My daughter is 10. I am learning too." It felt good to say it with his hands. He realized he had said, "I am learning too" many times with his mouth in other parts of life. But here, with his hands, it felt different. It felt like joining a real path rather than pointing at one. He bought a thin book from the center shop. Everyday Signs for Families. On the first page, someone had stamped a blue bird. Lena traced the bird and smiled at him. On the way out, they passed a young man at the front desk who was deaf. The father signed, "Thank you for today." The young man signed back, "Thank you for coming. See you next week." The father felt a warm thread. Tie him to next Saturday at 9. On Monday, the office asked for his attention again in many directions. The weekly leadership meeting filled the long table. Slides went up, numbers went up and down. When it was his turn, he spoke about the pilot for simple accessibility. 3 easy steps, he said. 1, visual menus on counters. 2, basic. Sign greetings for frontline staff. 3, a quiet corner in each busy store. 1 chair, a small sign, less noise. We can test in 1 location. Heads nodded in polite rhythm. Then the CFO cleared her throat. "All good ideas," she said. "But costs add up. Training hours are money. Printing menus is money. Adjusting store layout is money. Could we push this to next quarter?" The PR director spoke too, smiling. "What if we do a short video first? We can show intent. People love intent." The father felt 2 doors before him. One door was smooth and fast. A video, a few kind words, likes online. The other door was slower and heavier. Real changes, real hours, real bills. He did not pick a door in the meeting. He said, "Let me bring data next week. If the pilot works, we'll have a clear case." He saw the CFO relax a little, and the PR director nod. He made a note. Data from real customers. He sent a message to a store manager he trusted at a busy location. "Would you try a small change? 1 visual menu, 1 staff person with 4 sign greetings, 1 quiet chair. Tell me what you see for 2 weeks." The manager replied, "Happy to try. We already keep paper and markers for kids. This fits our spirit." That night, the Lena alarm buzzed, and he was there in the quiet corner when it did. They practiced restaurant signs. Water, bill, please, thank you. They invented a game. Draw a card with a sign word on it, and the other person had to guess by signing, not by speaking or writing. When he guessed wrong, he put a small blue sticker on his notebook. When he guessed right, a green sticker. The notebook began to show a garden of small circles, some sky, some grass, proof that practice is not a straight line but a field. 2 days later, he had to travel for a day trip. He told Lena in sign, "I will be back tomorrow. You." Thursday arrived with 2 clocks in the father's mind. 1 clock was for work. It ticked toward a board agenda review that might run long. The other clock was for Lena's family night at school. It ticked toward 6 in the evening and felt warm, like a light in a window. He stood at his office window at 4, looking out at the city. He knew both rooms would want all of him. He took a breath and chose a simple rule for the night. When he was with Lena, he would be fully with Lena. At 4, he moved the meeting up and walked in with calm steps. Slides filled the screen. People spoke in neat turns. When it was his time, He showed a single page with 3 points from the pilot store. He read each one slowly, like holding up small stones he wanted the room to see. First, a visual menu at the counter helped not only deaf customers, but also visitors who spoke other languages or who felt shy. Second, one frontline worker learned 4 signs, hello, water, thank you, bill, and used them 3 times a day on average. Third, a note from a parent on a receipt that said, we felt seen. He did not oversell. He did not pretend the I numbers were big. He said, this is small, but it is real. Let's run the pilot for 2 more weeks and measure again. The CFO tapped a pen. Costs? He answered simply, time for training, paper for menus, a chair for a quiet corner. It is not heavy. The PR director smiled. We could amplify this with a short video. People love to share stories like this. He nodded, kept his tone kind, and said, I prefer proof first. Let's collect more notes, then decide. He did not want to turn a seed into a show before it had roots. At 5:50, he checked the time. He stood, thanked everyone, and left with a clear step, not a rush. In the car, he put his phone on Lena mode. The screen dimmed to everything that could wait. The school was bright and busy. Artwork lined the hallway walls. Paper birds hung from strings. Children tugged on parents' sleeves, pulling them toward projects and friends. The father followed Lena to her classroom, where tables showed drawings and small models. Her teacher, Ms. Hart, greeted them with a smile. We're glad you're here, she said. And then, with a little hesitation, she looked at Lena and signed slowly. Welcome. The sign was not perfect, but the care was clear. Lena beamed. She signed back, thank you, and then pulled her father to a table where her sketchbook lay open to a page titled, How My Hands Talk. On it, she had drawn hands in simple shapes showing hello, thank you, and help. Each drawing had arrows, to show motion, and small faces to show expression. The father lifted his hands and tried to match the signs in the drawings. He shaped hello. He shaped thank you. He shaped help, a little shaky. Lena guided him with small taps. Ms. Hart watched with kind eyes. She taught me those 3 today, she said softly. We made it part of the art lesson. Parents moved. Around them, nodding and smiling at the drawings. A boy pointed and said to his mother, Look, hands can be words. The father felt pride rise in him, steady and warm. Then he felt a small hum in his pocket. It was not a call. It was not a message from the meeting. It was a calendar reminder for a task due tomorrow. Without thinking, he reached and looked at the screen. It was 1 second, maybe 2. But when he looked up, Lena was watching his face. She did not look angry. She did not look sad. She looked honest. She signed, Talk to me without your phone. The words landed gently and fully. He held her eyes. He did not defend himself. He did not explain. He put the phone in his bag and zipped it. He lifted his hands and signed, You are right. I am here. Her face changed, softening. She took his hand and pulled him to the next table. They visited every project. A clay city, a paper bridge, a poster about birds. He tried to sign what he liked. He said in sign, I like the colors. I like the shape. I like the idea. When words were hard, he showed with his face and hands, and Lena filled in any missing parts. Ms. Hart introduced them to another parent, whose daughter was learning sign too. They traded simple greetings, slow and steady, patient with each other's small mistakes. On the way home, the car was quiet again, but it was a full quiet. Lena leaned against the window and watched the lights pass. The father watched her reflection in the glass. At a stoplight, he signed, Thank you for telling me the truth. She signed, Thank you for listening. He smiled and added, New rule. When we are talking. My phone sleeps in my bag. She nodded and touched her ribbon, which glowed pale in the streetlight. At home, they went to the small corner with the lamp. The alphabet page looked back at them like an old friend. He reached into his bag and pulled out the book from the community center. Everyday Signs for Families. He opened to the chapter on feelings and pointed to a page with a drawing for proud. They practiced the sign together. He looked at her and signed, I am proud of you. She looked at him and signed, I am proud of you too. The words were simple, but the feeling was large. The next morning, he took a new step at work. He sent a short message to his leadership team titled, Why We Are Doing This. It read, We will not do a video yet. We will do the work first. We will learn from people who live this each day. We will make choices we can keep. He added, one sentence at the end. Listening is not a post. It is a practice. Nia stuck her head in the door. Good note, she said. He said, Thank you. Also, please block Saturdays at 9 for the class and every evening at 6 for 10 minutes. If someone asks, tell them I'm not available then. Got it, she said. A small storm came that afternoon anyway. A brief internal update about the pilot was shared in a chat channel. Someone outside the project took a screenshot and posted it online with a late-night caption that said, Billionaire tries to get good press with tiny signs. The words spread a little. Comments popped up. Some were kind, some not. The PR director texted him. We can get ahead of this with a nice video. I know a filmmaker. He read the message and felt the pull again. He imagined a film with soft music and firm lines, and he imagined how fast it could go live. He also imagined the pilot store, the quiet chair, the staff person practicing hello in the back room before a shift. He typed back, Let's wait. I'm going to the store today. He took a car to the pilot location. It was late afternoon. The place was busy, but not rushed. He stood back and watched. The visual menu sat on the counter, clean and clear. A worker with a name tag that read Maya signed hello to a customer who looked surprised and then smiled wide. A child pointed at the pictures on the card and signed water, then looked to his parent for approval. The parent nodded, hand over heart. The father felt his own chest warm. He ordered a tea and asked the manager to sit for 5 minutes. They found a tiny table near the window. What are you seeing? He asked. 2 things, the manager said. People like the visual menu. They touch the pictures. It slows the line a little, but not by much. And the signs, she smiled. The signs make people light up. It's like saying, I see you, with your hands. Some customers try to sign back. It's nice. Any problems? He asked. We needed to practice, she said. At first, staff were shy, afraid to do it wrong. We told them it's okay to be slow and to use a pen and paper if needed. We also learned to keep our hands free. No holding a cloth while signing. She laughed. Small things. He thanked her and wrote down her notes. On his way out, a parent caught his eye and lifted a receipt. Is this your idea? The parent asked softly. It's our team's pilot, he said. Well, thank you, the parent said. My child ordered today without me speaking for him. That was new for us. He carried that sentence back to the car like a seed in his pocket. At home, he told Lena about the visit, using his hands and his face more than his voice. He signed. People tried to sign back. It was kind. She signed, good. Did you sign, hello too? He laughed and signed, yes. Slow, but yes. She nodded as if checking off a box on a list she kept in her head. Saturday's class at the community center felt different now, not bigger, just deeper. Mrs. Perez led them through a simple scene. Ordering at a cafe. They took turns being the worker and the customer. The father played both parts in one round and kept his hands at chest level, just as taught. Mrs. Perez added a tip. When someone signs and you do not understand, it is okay to sign. One more time, please. She showed the sign again and had the whole room repeat. The room filled with smiles. It was a good, soundless moment. During the break, Ava walked in with 2 flyers, one for an upcoming community night at the center, one for a local market that was adding quiet hours and caption screens. The father did a little double-take. "Ava," he said, switching to voice. She smiled. "Oh, hi, I volunteer here sometimes," she said, and then turned to Lena and signed, "Hello again." Lena brightened and signed hello back. Ava looked at the father. "How is it going?" she asked. "Better each day," he said. "Thank you for the list you gave us. It helped start all of this." She nodded, happy but not making it about herself. "If your company wants to train staff, the center has a short workshop we do for local businesses," she said. "It's not long, 2 hours, practical." He felt the idea settle in a clear way. "That sounds right. Can you send me details?" She handed him a flyer with a simple schedule and contact name. He folded it and slid it into his book like a page he did not want to lose. Monday came with another leadership meeting. He walked in with data in simple lines and 2 printed notes from customers. He spoke calmly. Monday began bright and turned cloudy by noon, not in the sky, but in the Father's Day. The company chat kept buzzing in the background. A small blog had posted a short piece about the pilot store. It said the changes were too small and called it a rich man's light touch. People shared it. Some added comments that twisted the story. Others argued back. The noise grew, and soon staff in different offices were talking about it. A few customers asked in stores, "Is this just for a video?" The father felt the pull to reply fast and loud. He kept his hands still. He told himself the rule again: proof first, posts later. At lunch, the CFO sent a message: "Budget review this week. Please hold all new pilots until then." HR forwarded it with a careful note: "Training sessions may need to pause." The father stared at the line and felt his stomach tighten. They had just set up a 2-hour workshop with the community center for one store team. It took time to line up schedules. Staff were ready. He did not want to cancel and teach the wrong lesson, that the first wind would blow them over. Nia came to his door with gentle steps. "I saw the hold," she said. "Do you want to speak with the CFO now?" "I will after the afternoon meeting," he said. He did not want to walk in hot. He wanted to walk in clear. He visited the quiet corner at home that night right on time. He put the phone in the drawer and closed it. The lamp made the soft circle on the table as always, but his face carried the day with it. Lena saw it. She sat down and waited. He signed, "I may have to pause training at work." He showed the sign for pause, 2 hands like a small fence. She watched his hands and looked into his eyes. She signed, "Why?" He kept it simple. "Money review. People are worried." She was quiet. Then she picked up her pencil and drew a small picture. 2 hands making the sign for hello and a tiny clock next to them. She wrote in block letters, "Hello takes little time." She slid the page to him and lifted her eyebrows, asking if he understood. He smiled and felt the cloud lighten just a little. He signed, "You are right. Hello is small and strong." He put the drawing on the wall next to the alphabet page. It looked like a note to his future self. Do not forget the small things that change the air. The next morning, he met with the CFO. They sat at a small round table near a window. No slides, just 2 mugs of tea. "The hold is temporary," she said, calm and kind. "We have to review costs. It's not about your idea only. It's about everything this quarter." "I understand," he said. "But may I keep the 2-hour workshop for one store? It's already set. Staff are ready. The center planned for it. Canceling will send a message I don't like. It will. Say we quit at the first push." The CFO looked down at her tea and then back at him. "If we keep it, we have to count the hours. There's a limit." Count them, he said. I'll cover the workshop fee from my foundation, not from Storbeshitz. Staff time still counts. I won't ask them to learn off the clock. He wanted it to be fair. He wanted to honor time. She nodded slowly. Okay, one workshop. But please, no more ads until we finish the review. Agreed, he said. Thank you. He wrote to Ava that afternoon and confirmed the workshop with the community center. Ava replied with a simple thumbs up and the time. She added one note. We send 2 trainers, one deaf, one hearing. Staff will get to practice in pairs. He felt relief roll through him like a slow wave. It was not all clear, but one step stood. That same day, the PR director stopped by with a bright idea. We can still make a simple clip, she said. No music, no voiceover, just a worker. Signing hello? People will love it. He kept his smile soft. Let me ask you a question, he said. If we post a clip and close the workshop next week because of budget, what story did we write? She paused. Her smile faded to a thoughtful line. A short one, she said. I want a longer one, he said. Please help me hold the line a little longer. She nodded. Okay, I will wait. Thursday brought family night's echo. Ms. Hart sent a thank you note to parents and added that she would start the day with a sign from now on. A simple hello. 2 minutes. Kids loved it. The father read the note on his phone during a break and felt a bright thread pull through the week. But the storm had one more turn. A news site picked up the small blog story and added a headline that asked if the company's changes were just for show. It was not fair. It was also not fully wrong for the world they lived in. Many things were just for show. He did not want to be that. He also did not want to speak loudly to fix a problem. That required quiet work. He needed a better plan than wait and hope. He asked Naya to book him for the community night at the center on Saturday, the one on Ava's flyer. I want to listen, he said. No stage, no speech. Saturday evening, the center felt like a warm school gym. Folding chairs made a loose circle. A table held tea, water, and simple cookies. Families, teens, grandparents, and a few local shop owners sat together. Some wore hearing aids, some did not. Some signed fast, some signed slow. A man with kind eyes and a calm smile introduced the night in sign. Ava stood next to him and voiced for those who did not sign well yet. We share small wins and small problems, the man signed. We trade tips. We help each other. A parent raised a hand and signed, My daughter loves when people wait for her hands. Please remind workers, don't finish our sentences. A teen signed, Quiet hours help me shop. Bright lights and loud music make me tired. A shop owner signed, I want to help, but I am afraid to do it wrong. A woman signed, a card with simple signs by the register would help. Hello. Thank you. Water. Help. Where? Bathroom. A man with broad shoulders and gentle hands signed, I worked in safety. Fire drills are scary when you can't hear alarms. A visual signal helps. Staff should know to tap a shoulder and point to the exit. The father watched and took notes. He did not hide that he was writing. He wanted to show respect. He asked one question at the end, with Ava voicing. He signed, If a company starts small, what should it do first? The room lifted ideas like small stars, train staff and basic greetings, add visual menus, place a simple card with signs at the counter, make a quiet corner, use caption-first videos inside the company, tell people how to ask for help in sign and in writing. A little boy walked up and signed a single, careful word to him. Welcome. The father signed back. Thank you. The boy smiled and ran back to his chair. On the way out, the father spoke softly to Ava. Thank you for this, he said. It gave me a list of clear steps. She shrugged in a friendly way. It's what the center is for, she said. We solve little things that make big days better. He left with a pocket full of notes and a mind free of the heavy ache. He had a plan now. Not a big plan, a real plan. Sunday, he sat at the kitchen table with coffee and put the steps in order. Step 1, protect the 2-hour workshop. Step 2, print simple sign cards for the counters. Hello, thank you, water, bill, help. Step 3, place visual menus in 3 more stores. Cost low. Step 4, ask HR to add caption first to internal training videos. Step 5, build a quiet, minute script for staff to use when things get noisy. He wrote each step on a small square card. He stacked them. He shuffled them until they felt right. That evening, Lena found him at the table and climbed onto the chair next to him. He showed her the cards. She read each one and signed, "Good, easy." She pointed to the last card and added a small drawing of an eye next to the word, "Listen." He laughed softly and kissed the top of her head. He signed, "The best editor." She made a mock-serious face and signed, "Pay me an ice cream." He signed back, "Deal." Monday morning, he walked into the leadership meeting with the stack of cards and a quiet confidence. He laid the cards on the table like puzzle pieces and spoke plainly. "We will keep the workshop this week. It is paid for by my foundation. We will print simple sign cards in-house for 15 stores. Paper, black ink. No design costs. We will ask 3 more stores to add visual menus. We will switch internal videos to caption first now. It costs nothing but attention. We will share a short script for quiet moments. Tap the shoulder, point to exits. Keep hands free. Use paper and pen when needed." The CFO looked at the cards and nodded. "Small," she said. "Manageable. Okay." The PR director tapped a card with a fingertip. "Can we record the workshop for internal learning?" she asked. "Yes," he said, "but not for a public post. This is for us to learn. If after 30 days we have clear results and good feedback, we can share a simple update with real details." "Deal," she said, and meant it. At the store workshop, staff showed up in neat rows with name tags and open faces. Ava came with another trainer, a calm man who was deaf and had a quiet humor. They taught hello, thank you, help, water, bill, restroom, and one more time, please. They showed how to face a person, how to slow down, how to use a small notepad when needed. Staff practiced in pairs. They laughed when they mixed up a sign and tried again. The father stood in the back and practiced too. He did not want to watch only. He wanted to learn like everyone else. At the end, the deaf trainer signed a simple message. "You may forget signs. That is okay. Do not forget patience. Do not forget to look at the person." No one forgot that. The week moved with a steady beat. The printed sign cards appeared on counters. The visual menus went up in 3 more stores. A manager sent a note. A tourist used the pictures to order. It helped us both. Another wrote, "A staff member now signs hello to a regular who is hard of hearing. The regular smiled all day. At home, tea." 30 days passed like pages turning in a steady book. Each day held a small action, a card printed, a sign practiced, a chair placed in a quiet corner, a short video inside the company with captions on by default. The father did not rush. He kept the daily 10 minutes with Lena like a small lamp that always came on. He went to the Saturday class at the community center even when the week was heavy. He kept notes on one page only so the work stayed clear. On the last day of the pilot, he visited the first store again. He did not go with a camera. He went with a pen and a calm face. He stood near the counter and watched how people moved. A young man looked at the visual menu card, touched the picture for soup, and nodded when the worker showed the bowl size with her hands. A grandparent and a child pointed to water, and then the child shaped the sign slowly. The worker smiled and signed it back. No one clapped. No one paused the line. It was normal now, and that was the best part. He asked the manager for 5 minutes. They sat by the window with 2 glasses of water. "What changed?" he asked. "2 simple things," the manager said. "First, people read the pictures. It saved time when words were hard. Second, our team is calmer with difference. They look up, they slow down, they use their hands without fear. It helps with our regulars and with visitors. It helped me too." "Any trouble?" he asked. "Just learning," she said. "At first, we forgot to keep our hands free. We fixed that. Also, the quiet chair needs a small sign so people know it's for anyone who needs a moment." She lifted a small card she had made herself that read, "Quiet seat. Take a breath." It had a tiny drawing of a feather. "I made this," she said, a little shy. "It's perfect," he said, and he meant it. In the afternoon, he met, with his team in a small room without a screen. He placed 3 things on the table: a stack of short notes from customers, a 1-page list of numbers, and one of the printed sign cards. He spoke simply. "We trained 1 full store team for 2 hours. We added picture menus and sign cards at 15 counters. We set captions to on for internal videos. Here's what we saw: 2 to 4 uses of signs a day per store on average. Higher staff comfort over time. 3 kind notes from customers each week across locations. Sales did not jump in a big way, but customer comments and staff morale went up. Most of all, we saw small moments that felt right." He let the room touch the sign card and read the notes. The CFO flipped a page and nodded. "Hours were within the limit," she said. "Costs were light. I'm okay extending the pilot." "I would like to do more than extend," he said. "I want to make 4 things our standard. 1, simple picture menus at all counters. 2, a basic sign card at each register. 3, a 2-hour workshop for each store team before the end of the year, taught by the community center. 4, caption first, for all internal training and messages from now on." The room was quiet in a good way. People were thinking, not resisting. The PR director leaned forward. "If this becomes standard, we can share a modest update later," she said. "No big campaign, just a note that says what we did, where, and why with links to the center." He nodded. "Later," he said. "Let's finish the 2nd month first." He also sent a short message to all managers. "You do not have to be perfect. You just have to be present. When in doubt, look up. Keep hands free. Use paper and pen. Ask, 'One more time, please.' Thank you for helping us build care into our rooms." At home that night, Lena sat under the lamp, her ribbon by the book, like a small blue moon. They practiced signs for places: home, school, store, park, hospital, library. They built tiny stories. "We go to the library. We read a book. We say thank you." He tried to add 1 new word: community. His hands were slow, so Lena guided them. She showed how the sign feels like people coming together. He repeated it, until it felt like the idea itself lived in his fingers. When they finished, he said softly, "Saturday, can we visit the restaurant again?" He signed the idea too. Restaurant again, with a small question in his eyebrows. Lena smiled big and clapped once. She signed, "Yes, and we will order without speaking." He nodded and felt a warm flutter of nerves that was also joy. The 2nd month moved with a steady beat. The community center scheduled workshops 2 nights a week, and store teams took turns. Ava and the deaf trainer led the sessions with the same calm rhythm. Face the person, keep your hands free, slow down, and smile when you need a moment. Staff wrote small notes to themselves and taped them by the register. "Hello, thank you, water, bill, help." The father paid the center from his foundation and set a plan to keep that support steady. He did not want the center to feel like a guest. He wanted it to feel like a neighbor. In the middle of the month, an email from the CFO arrived with a line that made him stop and read again. It said, "I visited a store with my mom. She used the pictures to order. It made our lunch easy. Thank you for pushing for small steps that work." He wrote back, "Thank you for protecting the hours," and smiled at how rare and kind that circle felt. He also added a small hiring note through HR. Applicants who know a second language, including sign, would get a small bonus if hired. It was not huge. It was clear. It told the truth about what the company valued. HR posted a short internal how-to for managers on welcoming sign skills without making people perform. The guide said, "Ask privately. Are you comfortable using sign at the register? If yes, wonderful. If not yet, also fine. Offer the workshop. Keep learning gentle." One Friday, the PR director walked into his office with a single printed page. "If we share an update," she said, "let's use this." The page had no pictures. It had 4 simple lines: what they changed, where they did it, whom they learned from, and one note of thanks to customers for their patience while staff learned. At the bottom, a link to the community center's page, not the company's. He read it and felt proud of her restraint. "This looks honest," he said. "Let's post it next week after we finish the second round of workshops." Saturday arrived with soft sun. The hotel restaurant felt the same as before: clean light, quiet music, careful steps. The host led them to a corner table. The father carried no laptop, only his hands and a calm face. Lena opened her sketchbook. He set his phone to Lena mode and slid it deep into his bag without looking. He took a breath and looked around, not for people watching him, but for the person he came to see. Ava appeared with her steady eyes and warm smile. She greeted them with a small wave. Then she signed, "Hello, nice to see you again." Her hands moved like clear water. Lena signed back, "Hello. We came to practice." Ava laughed softly and signed, "Perfect place." The father lifted his hands before any words could escape his mouth. He signed carefully. "Hello, Ava. Good to see you. Water with lemon for Lena. For me, tea." He kept his face gentle and his hands steady. Ava watched, nodding as each sign landed. She signed back, "Got it. Thank you." Then she added voice for the small details the menu required. "Would you like anything to start?" she asked. He caught the question and signed, "No, thank you," and added a small smile that matched the sign. Lena ordered her pasta again, this time with an extra "please" shaped like a soft circle near her chest. The father ordered fish, remembering the taste from before. Ava wrote nothing now. She did not need to. She signed, "I'll be right back," and moved away like a dancer who knows the room by heart. For a moment, the father sat very still. He looked at his daughter, who was looking at him with her bright eyes wide. She signed, "Good. Very good." His shoulders dropped with a happy breath he had been holding for weeks, maybe for years. He signed back, "Teacher good. Student trying." She reached across the table and squeezed his hand. The meal arrived with the same quiet grace. The pasta shone with tomato again. The fish sat neatly, but this time something else shared the table. A relaxed ease that comes when people speak. In the same language, even a simple version of it. They ate and signed small talk. "How is school?" "Good." "Art project?" "Birds next week." "How is work?" "Good." Many small steps. When he did not know a sign, he signed, "One more time, please," or he wrote a word on the corner of his notebook. Lena filled in the gaps without making him feel slow. A couple at a nearby table glanced over and then looked away kindly. It was not a show, it was just lunch. Ava came by to check on them, signing first, speaking second. She asked Lena about her drawings. Lena showed a page from her sketchbook, hands signing hello with a tiny clock, the same picture that hung on their wall. Ava put a hand over her heart and signed, "I love this. It reminds me to slow down." When they finished, The father asked for the bill in sign and then added voice for the card. He tipped well, not as a grand gesture but as a quiet thank you for the steady care that had touched 2 lives. Before they stood, he signed to Ava. "Thank you for helping us begin." She signed back. "You did the work. Keep going." They stepped out onto the bright sidewalk. The city was still fast. People moved with their own clocks. He kneeled so his eyes met Lena's. He signed, "Ready for class later?" She signed, "Always." He lifted his hands and shaped a new phrase they had learned but not yet used between them. "I am grateful." She watched his hands, saw the meaning, and smiled with a softness that felt like sunlight. That afternoon, he sat with his team and approved the company-wide plan in writing. The message was short, clear, and simple. Starting this month, all stores will add Picture Me